Remind people I'm not a medical doctor, so that myself and the company are not providing any type of medical advice. But one of the themes that kept coming up was that because of people's diets today, they might often be lacking certain nutrients to optimize the effectiveness of the patches. So, for example, many people choose to have a vegan and a vegetarian lifestyle, which is totally great. But we would say it is extremely challenging for those individuals to get certain nutrients. So, for example, beta-alanine, which is the basis for AHKCU and carnosine, principally we would see beta-alanine in red meat, or we might see creatine in red meat. There is also cysteine. Cysteine is the backbone of glutathione. So it's a limiting factor. You don't get enough cysteine in your diet, you're not going to be able to make as much glutathione. And we find cysteine in dairy products, it's in whey protein, we find it in eggs. So vegans and vegetarians are at a significant disadvantage. So the idea behind this was that we would create a single formula so that no matter what patch you're using, this one formula would have all the nutrients that you would need to optimize the functioning of the patches. So I think it's worth mentioning that that's the overarching mission statement of why we wanted to come out with this formula.
Yeah, that's really important. Well, the formula is so unique from any other product that's out there. Can you dig in a little bit on some of the specific ingredients in that formula, why they're unique, and the impact that it has on that collective formula?
Sure, absolutely. Let's go through that. First, let's take a look at the overall formula for Celergi's morning formulation. And there is a lot of nutrients that are in the formula to match up with all of the patches. So it's extremely comprehensive. The first one that we should probably discuss is Cyanothox. And Cyanothox is an extract of sea buckthorn. And the reason why we included this was not because it's necessary for the functioning of the patches, but because this one specific nutrient had very good research to show that it would improve the stem cell activity in the body. And when we're looking at claims, one of the things that our brand partners kept coming back with is, how can we make the stem cell claim? Because that's what people are interested in. So how do we get through regulatory? So we worked with scientists, doctors, lawyers to say, okay, well, let's take a look at a whole different spectrum of nutrients. Which one is going to give us very good protection so we can make stem cell claims? And sea buckthorn extract, Cyanothox, kept coming back. And as we began to look at the literature on it, we got excited and say, this is going to be a phenomenal complement to our patches. So that's why we included Cyanothox. I think next thing, this is going to be a little bit of a surprise, but one of the nutrients that we included was vitamin C. And of course, it's extremely common, but interestingly, of course, vitamin C is a very good antioxidant, and it's been used therapeutically in much higher doses to help save people's lives. And so we wanted to make it as a base ingredient in the formula. It helps to support overall stress reduction within the cell. Vitamin C is interesting in that it can turn on collagen production, can be used to stimulate formation of new cartilage, helps to preserve glutathione levels in the body, and there's very good science to show that vitamin C as an antioxidant helps to support the health and vitality of the stem cells. So for that reason, we included vitamin C.
Yeah, very powerful ingredient.
Now, niacin is an interesting ingredient. We included a low dose of niacin. And the reason is that when we look at the mitochondrial function in the body, we look at the electron transport chain, and we look at, let's say in this case, the Krebs cycle. One of the key nutrients that people are interested in today is NAD. And NAD is being shown that there's a strong link between longevity, youth renewal, and levels of NAD in the body. And as people age, the levels of NAD decline. So there's been an interest in supplementing with NAD. Typically, the way this happens is people take a supplement of NMN or NR. However, the FDA has been looking to take NMN and NR off the market and label them as drugs, which is really terrible because they should be classified as nutrients. But something exciting has come up through the literature to show that niacin, common B vitamin, is actually a better precursor to formation of NAD in the body than NMN or NR. So bottom line is that by supplementing with niacin, we support levels of NAD, we support youth and vitality, and we protect the integrity and health of the stem cells in the body. So that was the reason for including niacin. The next nutrient we would look at would be magnesium, and in this case, magnesium citrate. Now, over 60% of the general population has a magnesium deficiency, and magnesium participates in at least 300 different biochemical reactions in the body. So everyone should really be taking a magnesium supplement. And in this particular case, we decided to use magnesium in both our daytime and our nighttime formula. Typically, dosing of magnesium can range anywhere from 100 to 400 milligrams daily, depending on the individual. They should see a doctor about that. But fortunately, there was research showing that not only would magnesium support what are called mesenchymal stem cells. I know some of our U.S. viewers are going to they're going to object to me pronouncing that way, but we did our research in Ireland, and that's the way they pronounce MSC stem cells.
I'm going to take your word for it. You're the expert. So.
Yeah, so I know I get criticized for that, but that's a little bit of an Irish accent on my part.
Gotcha.
But anyway, magnesium has been shown to improve the activity of the MSC stem cells in the body. And as an example, what are these stem cells? They release a growth factor called VEGF, and VEGF is involved in, let's say, supporting the cardiovascular health of our body. It's a vascular growth factor. So having enough magnesium is very important to stem cell activity. Also, one of the things that our patches does is it improves the flow of energy through the body. And magnesium as an electrolyte is necessary to support the flow of bioelectrical current through the body. So again, another important reason as to why we should be taking magnesium.
Any other highlights on the ingredient list?
Oh, there's quite a few more.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the next one I think we would talk about would be zinc, and we included both copper and zinc in the formula. The reason to include copper is that copper is necessary for the formation of GHKCU, as it's a copper binding peptide, and in X49, AHKCU. When you take copper, you should also take zinc. The two of them work hand in hand. And so for that reason, because zinc both supports the activity of stem cells in the body and that it works hand in hand with copper, we included both copper and zinc.
Great.
Selenium is a micronutrient, and research on selenium has been around for many decades. It's important that we don't take too much selenium because that can have adverse effects on the body. For men, one of the benefits of selenium is that it can help to support testosterone levels in the body. Paired with zinc, it can act as a natural aphrodisiac. So selenium also as an antioxidant is critical in the formation of glutathione. Now, the next nutrient that we included in this formula is potassium. And similar to magnesium, almost the entire population is said to have a potassium deficiency. And potassium, of course, is an electrolyte. It's necessary for the flow of energy in the body. And in this particular case, all of the patches depend upon potassium content to conduct electrical signaling. So for that reason, we included potassium. Potassium has a number of other amazing benefits. It can help support the cardiovascular system. So for these reasons, we included potassium.
That's great. What's another key ingredient that you included in the formula?
So we had prior experience in developing nutritional supplements, and one of those ingredients was fiber, and specifically soluble fiber. And from the point of view of consuming this product, we found that by adding Fibersol, it would improve the body of the drink and make it more pleasurable to drink. So from just the point of view of experience, adding fiber would be really good. However, fiber, and specifically soluble fiber, is going to act as a prebiotic and support the probiotics in the body. So it's a good way of improving the flora of the gut. In addition, most people today, especially Americans, don't get enough fiber in their diet, so this is a good source of fiber.
Absolutely, and such an important part of that whole technology platform that is really the thread through all of these products. Any other highlights in the formula?
A super important one.
Okay, great.
Super important one. So in developing the water machine technology, where we're looking at longevity mechanisms, there is a positive and negative feedback loop in the electron transport chain, and this involves glutathione and nitric oxide. So essentially, glutathione and nitric oxide are necessary for energy production. And when glutathione levels begin to fall off, the energy metabolism of the cell will suffer as a consequence. So we need glutathione to suppress and control oxidative stress. And if it's not there, then we're going to experience mitochondrial dysfunction. On the opposite side, we need to feed oxygen and oxygen radicals into the cell, but mostly, let's say, oxygen, to support cellular respiration so we can convert food over into cellular energy. And one of the things that's necessary is nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide has huge benefits. I'll appeal to men again, and nitric oxide is strongly linked to the cardiovascular health. So most men are going to want to supplement with some type of ingredient to boost nitric oxide, and L-citrulline is a good choice. Now, a surprise nutrient, I think, that we included was creatine. And creatine has been known now for, let's say, at least 20 years as a nutrient that's used in bodybuilding for athletes, muscle building. And it helps to mediate energy production in the cells. It helps to volumize muscle tissue to allow improvements in strength and stamina. And this is how it's been known. I'd actually recommend that people that are not athletes use creatine to help support their muscle mass because of sarcopenia. Most people are going to lose up to 50% of their muscle mass by the time they reach age 70. And by supplementing with natural ingredients like creatine and doing, of course, resistance training, you can get the most out of the patches and also support strength and stamina, as well as the stem cell activity in the body.
I've heard more and more about it, it seems recently in the media, about how it has shifted from kind of the fitness or bodybuilding crowd to more of the average person and the important role that it plays in our overall health and wellness.
Yeah, I think as now research has shifted away from athletics and looking at things like the role of creatine in cognition, in stem cell activity, more will be learned, and 10 years from now, we'll probably know 100 times as much about creatine as we know today. But I think suffice it to say, there's enough known to justify the statement that we should be supplementing with creatine daily. A really important ingredient that we included in this formula is beta-alanine. I was mentioning earlier that people that are choosing to be vegans or vegetarians are going to be deficient with beta-alanine if they don't supplement. Beta-alanine has phenomenal health benefits principally because it is a precursor to carnosine and AHKCU. So we included this nutrient so that people that are using the carnosine patch and are using X49 can be assured that they're getting beta-alanine in their diet, and they'll get the best results with those patches.
Amazing. Again, how it always ties back, to the patches and helps supporting the other products, those synergistic effects of the entire product portfolio.
Absolutely.
So what other elements to this incredible formula? It seems like it's a list of riches in this formula.
Yeah, a really important one. Again, thinking about our community where so many people are vegans or vegetarians, we included N-acetylcysteine. So N-acetylcysteine is an amino acid. It's been around since the 1960s. And again, it's necessary for the formation of glutathione and NAC. So for people that are using X39, you want to get the optimum results.
So even on its own, this formula is innovative, incredibly powerful, but yet you didn't stop here. So there's also a companion formula to Celergize Morning. And I'm curious, talk a little bit about the needs from morning to evening and how our nutritional needs shift